Life be feeling like we on a merry-go-round, but I'ma steer this here, cause promise we ain't going down. No matter what comes, just my confession is I'm in love with me.
All right, I am your girl, Mimi Talks, and this is my good friend, my good Judy, my friend for real, not for play. Tiffany Speaks, girl. What's that, friend?
What's up? What's good?
Girl.
I'm so happy we're finally doing this, Mimi.
Are we doing it? Because it's happening, right?
It is.
In front of our eyes. I cannot believe it. I can believe it. Huh? You want to talk about it? God is good.
Do.
All right, so let's bring it all the way back when we had the little side ponytails or whatever down to the American High, the greatest school in Dade County. Y'all could argue with your mammy when you hear about it, but the greatest school in Dade County. I don't want to hear nothing.
Hold on, you know they gonna argue, right?
They're gonna argue. I don't care about
they gonna want to talk about Carol City, and
I don't care about it. I don't care about it because y'all know where all the bad ones went.
Period.
Okay, so let's bring it all the way back.
Yeah.
All the way back. Like we have been around the way for a minute. But we didn't get to where we are right now till 20 years later. Is that crazy?
That's the crazy part. Yeah, I think it's crazy. So, you just said, let's talk about how we met. And I was sitting there thinking like, I don't quite remember when I met you, but I know that I knew you. I've just always known you. But I can't tell you like when I met you, how I met you. You were always a pleasant face. Sure. Like, it's some people you remember and you just be like, I don't mess with them like that. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't ever that with us. It was always pleasantries and it was always just kindness. And we had a lot of, not a lot, but a few mutual friends, I think. And so we've been able to just kind of have that relationship that's like there, but not there.
Right.
But now it's like there.
Now it's there. Like it's there. Like I'm pulling up for birthdays. I'm pulling up wherever you said, friend. What you said?
Daddy asking for you. Daddy asking for Mimi and his angels.
Okay.
When I come to the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And ask him when he finna make us some collard greens, cause
he ain't cooking these days. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
Life and he ain't really been cooking.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But no, it's been a beautiful thing to watch your evolution. Like, knowing you and then seeing you on social and seeing all the beautiful things you were doing with Mimi Talks, all the different interviews and things like that. And just watching your personality, watching you come into who you've always been. But I don't know if you fully saw it. And so like when you finally started to like see it and step into it, it was like, damn, she dope. Like she really gets it. And she really is onto something. And I've just been like enjoying watching you do you so damn well,
Can I just talk really quick about Tiffany Speaks and how you actually speak and you speak life into people? I know you speak life into me. Like it's almost like uncanny. It's almost unbelievable. And the fact that when I started really taking notice online, I'm like, dang, Tiffany kind of dope. She doing the same thing. She be down here talking to the people and doing all of the things. Like when I started noticing you doing the shirts, and then you would hop on these podcasts and you were doing pods and PR at the time. And I'm like, oh, girl, okay. I see you. Mm-hmm. I see you, friend. And it never felt like I didn't want to learn from you or learn or see what you're doing or participate in what you were doing. It never mattered that we were doing similar things or on the same kind of path. I'm like, damn, what's she up to? I want to see like, oh, that's kind of dope how you did that. Like, oh, well, what did you do here? And you're like, okay, this is what you got to do. Get this microphone, get this. And you just like do this whole little rundown thing. And like, hey, I don't see Mimi talking. What's up? The way that you pour into people. And I pray that as long as I'm here, I pray that I'm able to do the same. And even if it's a fraction of what you've done, I pray that I can do the same for you.
But you do it already. So the first thing I want to be clear about saying is I don't just invest in anybody and vice versa. I don't just let anybody invest in me, right? So when you say you pray you can do the same, like the whole reason you and I had the conversation in the first place is because you were blessing people with your gift. And then all of a sudden I just thought, stop. And I'm like, wait, what happened? What you doing? Like, when you coming back? It was not me telling you something you didn't already know, or it wasn't me telling you something that you weren't aware of. It was me just reminding you, like, hey, don't forget you're doing this and you're doing it well. So the world needs that. I think you mentioned something that's really not talked about enough, and that's the whole gatekeeping and being able to learn from one another.
Do you want to talk about that? Can we stay right there? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think we have been, I don't even want to say as people, as super odd. I know for sure, a lot of us, especially from Miami,
okay,
we feel like it ain't enough or nothing for everybody. So it's this whole attitude of like, I'm not really trying to share my resources. I ain't really trying to tell you where I get this from. I ain't trying to tell you how I do that. And I get it. Like, we've been put in situations that make us feel like we have to kind of hold it close to the chest. But in the same breath, when you start to experience enough life and move away from that environment, I hope that it shows us that there's so much for everyone, that we don't have to hold on to any one thing, and that you create a very full life if you take the time and make a way to give, because then your hands are open and you're able to receive.
That's good.
So that's the thing. Like, I'm never gonna not tell people stuff. Now, I ain't gonna give you my proprietary information,
right?
But you know what I'm saying. But I'll tell you where to find this, how to do that, because I also believe that what's for me is made for me to do, and nobody can do anything the way that I do it. Period. Like, it's just what it is.
I gotta agree wholeheartedly. Like, if it's for me, it won't pass me by. I tell people that all the time. It's not gonna miraculously forget my address. It's for me. It's coming to me. This is what this is. So if whatever it is I'm supposed to impart or share or, encourage, whatever it is, the words that I'm supposed to have for you, it's not gonna diminish my light. It's not gonna all of a sudden, nobody's gonna notice me. Everybody notices me. And that ain't that's not no bragging shit. That's just everyone notices me.
What it is.
Because that's the light, right? That's the light that I carry. It's going to be what it's going to be wherever I am. So no, it won't be dimmed by me saying, yeah, I went to John Smith and he charges X amount. If you go over here and he asking for this, this, and this, and these are the items that you should walk away with. You know what I mean? That's not gonna, that ain't gonna stop my shine, because if you're podcasting and I'm podcasting, you're not finna podcast like me. Cause you're not gonna say what I'm finna say. Half the time, I don't know the shit that I'm finna say. You want to talk about it? I don't know what I'm gonna say. So there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then the whole bit about learning from each other, like when you talk about learning from one another, the thing too is like, where did we lose the art of like collaborating, what I'm saying? Learning one from the other. I feel like the reason we were now I'm gonna get on my black shit, because I'll be on that. Okay. Like, I feel like we as a people, we were able to accomplish a lot historically because we understood the art of collaborating and being in community with one another. But again, this whole scarcity mindset, it's messed us up on a number of different, in a number of different ways, because it isn't just about the resources, but then it's about the skills and the gifts. Everybody want to monetize everything and they want to sell everything. And it's like, why can't you talk to someone, teach?
They had that thing was like, oh, the game is supposed to be sold, not told. And I was like, it's the actual opposite. The game is to be told, not sold. How do you build the next generation? That's why I don't even want to get into it, especially like my son, our kids are around the same age. Why you think like these kids don't be knowing nothing? Because it's just like no one's telling them anything. And they think that it's just like, yeah. And then you think you just gonna arrive. I have this conversation frequently with my son. I'm like, there's no point that you think you're just going to arrive and then the thing is just there. You have to take some type of route there, son. You're not just gonna arrive and then suddenly, oh, I'm a millionaire. Where do they do that at? You gonna be a millionaire at what? That's cool. Let's go with your logic. What you gonna do? Radio silence. So yeah, the game is being sold, and ain't nobody being told nothing, because that's the next thing. They selling the ebooks, but ain't nothing in it. All they saying is I just work hard and that's how I got here.
And I don't even want to get on Chat GPT.
Okay.
Because like all the AI and all this stuff, like what's really about to start happening is you're gonna have a lot of people who are out here selling stuff that they don't have any knowledge of because
Correct.
ChatGPT will tell them how to do everything. And I mean, that's just one of the platforms I'm naming. But I was doing something the other day and somebody introduced me to it, and I put something in there just to see like how it works. And it gave me information that historically you would have had to work years to get, right? So now like you got
Wow.
people who can probably use this resource to sell information they don't really have and skill they don't really possess. It's just the whole thing is messed up. So in this space, what we can guarantee, I know for myself, if I know something, y'all gonna know it. Like I'm sure Mimi's the same way. And if we have a resource, we don't mind sharing a resource. If we have the opportunity to highlight somebody or share somebody's business or whatever,
Absolutely.
like you can expect to hear that, because I think when you talk about being in community, it really is a sense of feeling like you are at home in relationship with folks you have things in common with.
Right.
And you won't know unless you start sharing, right?
You won't know. You won't know.
Yeah.
Our good girlfriend Issa, you know, she my friend in my head, and I can't wait to meet her. Yes. She literally and this was years ago, and they asked her like, how did she, you know, achieve what she was like, a lot of times people network up. And that's not necessarily the problem, right? But maybe network across. Let's get on the same level of people that are kind of doing the same thing that you're doing, so we can all push that way. And I think that's literally a lost art form. Unfortunately, people aren't willing to share the information. Oh, because you frying chicken like I fry chicken. Well, your grandma named Hattie Mae and my grandma named Ernestine. Ernestine and Hattie Mae, she from North Carolina. This one from Virginia. It's okay. We don't have the same seasonings. We could talk about this. Like we could talk about it. We frying chicken. That's cool. But perhaps you fricassee. I always thought that word was hilarious, by the way.
What is fricassee? What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's a way to cook chicken, though.
What does that even mean?
Fricassee is the funniest word I've ever heard in my entire life. Anytime I hear that word,
I've never heard
I scream.
that word before.
Okay. Look up fricassee and chicken. Chicken fricassee.
I'm going to look it up now because you just said it. So I'm going to see what they're talking about. But, and you know something? I'm going to say this too. I'm going to let us move on, because this is when you talk about this, my mind is like, yes, everything. Yes. My thing too is like, so you mentioned Issa's comment. That was like, I love me some Issa Rae. You don't even understand how much I be going back and watching Awkward Black Girl like on YouTube. Like I love me some Issa Rae. But when she talks about networking sideways, right? The thing that I'm also tired of seeing, community, can we do better about this? I'm tired of us not supporting the people we see next to us until they raised above us, and then you want to talk about how much you knew they were gonna love them and all that. Like, come on, y'all, for real, because you know, because the thing about it is, when we sitting next to you, that's the time when we could really use the love. You know, we could really use the support. We could really
because we're in the trenches right now.
We in the fucking trenches trying to make it happen. So when we're doing this, and you sitting right next to me, don't just watch my page and watch me do this and watch everybody else jump in and support, and you don't say nothing. Then when I get up here, you want to, hey sis, and hey that. Come on. We gotta do better, cousin.
We have to do better, cousins. It's like you, and I know the people are gonna feel this because it's so everybody. Why do y'all do that? Yes. Why do y'all wait until this person is at 100K followers and now I'm hosting the BET Awards? I always knew you was gonna be there. Where was you at when you could have just shared my content? Where were you at where you could just simply, you know how much I'm selling shirts for? Not you asking for a free shirt. Can you go to www.buymyshirtrightquick.com?
You feel me? I sell my juices, okay? And there's somebody I know, I'm gonna just tell a quick story. Somebody I know of who has never commented, never said a word about, when I say never said a word, and I be posting, never liked, never commented, never shared, never purchased, never nothing. I didn't even know they knew that I had this business. Okay. Wow. They ran into a mutual friend and said, oh, I see her pushing them juices, this and this and that. And I say, well, I'll be damned. Who even knew they knew, because they never said a word. But when I see them, hey friend, I see you doing this. I see you doing that. Good job. Huh? Now look, the old me would have been hot, but the new me is just like, you know what? I get it. So people are people. They just gonna people.
Absolutely.
That's what they gonna do, right?
Absolutely.
I don't take offense to it, but I say, it's things like that where we just got to do better. If you see a person on their grind, as opposed to you mentioning it to someone else, how about you say, good job, sis? Keep going. I see you. Because it takes nothing. It costs nothing. But it's like people be so, I don't know what keeps them from just being kind, you know what I'm saying? Being kind. Because if I see somebody shining, I'm going to say, keep going, sis, or keep going, bro. Or like I see you doing Mimi Talks. You ain't been talking. What's up, sis? This ain't even about nothing else. It's about you have a gift and I ain't seen it. What's going on?
What's going on? And I don't know. I talk to my cousin frequently, actually, for like hours at a time. It's actually nauseating. Like we talk for hours at a time. And one of the things that I frequently say to her, I'm like, damn, they did a number on us, y'all. 500 years worth. They did a number on us because the way that we are like divided, the way I don't want to be on my Black Power shit, but I'm always be on my Black Power shit because this is what this is. And this is who I am to my core. So I'm going to always mention exactly how I feel, but they did a number on us where you feel like you can't even say, keep going, like to make that community what it is. If you're selling real estate, and you know that I do podcasts and XYZ, there is a way that we can connect and build a community, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. Hey, this girl over here, I know she does the real estate stuff. Get on the podcast. Let's talk about it. Let's get some whatever it is. Like I don't know what that is. They did a number on us, and at times, I'm optimistic most times, but a lot of the times I do feel like, damn, is this irretrievable? Huh? Are we doomed? Like, what's going on?
We are irretrievably broken. We are. So I don't think we'll ever be to a point where we have it all fixed. We can't, because they did the number on us and then they're still doing a number on us. Sure. And so with the stuff they're pushing forward, with social media, with the internet, with all the things, it's like we continue to break a foundation that's already unstable. And so we're not ever going to get to the point where we need to be. But those of us who are aware and conscious and capable just got to do better. That's it.
How do we build our communities outside of the woman empowerment for $7,000 and all they get is a panel of 22 people up there saying the same thing? Oh, I'm just going to piggyback off what you said. I just worked really hard. But what really was going on is your drug dealer boyfriend or whoever else, your scammer man or whoever is the one that gave you the money to fund your dreams. Can we talk about that for real? Or you know what I mean?
So see, you know what? This is what I'm gonna say when it comes to that. I ain't got a whole lot of insight into that subset of people because I don't really know the ones who done leaned into the boyfriends or whatever, right? What I do know is empowerment and community is something I'm very passionate about, and I think it looks and feels a certain way, and it doesn't look and feel like $7,000 tickets to me. Right.
Don't feel that way. 7,000 is crazy. And the amount of women that can find the 7,000 to pay it because these places be packed out. Sis, where you work? What do you do for a living?
So that all of that, I can't say what that should look and feel like. What I can say is when I think about community and when I think about empowerment, like I think about it on a very strategic, like tactical, practical, day-to-day level. It's stuff as simple as, see, it's hard for me to say this without, because I don't want to say this and feel like I'm flexing because I'm not trying to flex, but I am trying to like give an example because I speak best from personal experience, right?
Absolutely.
So I think about community.
Do your shit, Big Tiff.
So when I think about like empowerment and community, right? Like, so me having been an entrepreneur for some time and still being an entrepreneur who exists in a corporate space, I understand that in my corporate space, I have access or proximity to resources that some of my entrepreneur community may not have access to, right? Sure. Or I have education about things they don't know. When I think about empowerment, I think about how can I connect these people to this education? How can I connect these people to these resources because I have the privilege of being next to it and I can create that opportunity for them? Right. Think about community is if I work with a Black owned business and I know this person does outstanding work, when somebody says, hey, I need somebody to do this, me making sure that I take the time to share that person's information and keeping connected with this person so I can keep them plugged into different things. And so we can work together and collaborate. Like, that sounds very tactical, right? But take that same mindset and apply it to anything. So for you, what you're doing, if you speak and you know that there's somebody trying to get out on a platform, using your resources that you have proximity to create an opportunity for that person, right? So it just keep doing that. And that's how you start to build a community. That's how you empower people. And then when you come together, understanding that you're not coming together to make one person rich, right? You're coming together to empower one another. So I just think reasonable cost. I think reasonable experience. I think reasonable expectations. Some of these folks are like, they see that empowerment is the wave. So they're going to take their resources and put together this really high dollar thing that doesn't really add any value. It's just expensive. Sure. And then you leave there and you're still as lonely as you were when you got there. And if you want to feel more connected, you got to have more money. That's not empowerment.
You got to have more money, and all you left over is a swag bag with some branding
free
information.
Giveaways. With some free branded giveaways, they wrote a sponsorship letter. I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly, you know what I'm saying?
But this
we just got to do better.
Yeah. So like, how do we do that? Like, especially coming from, Miami versus Atlanta. So we know what Miami is, right? Miami is a melting pot. We're from, this is our city. And you know, we're going to say 305 everywhere. They know where we from, wherever we show up to, right? Our city also, it comes with so much because it's a melting pot. The Caribbean is here. There's people from all over that live here. And so when it comes time to share resources or to have these meeting of the minds, it's not that. Miami don't necessarily be supporting Miami. Like, they'll say Miami when they go other places, sure. But while we're right here at home, you're going to have the same 4 people being on the list for 40 under 40. You're going to have the same, you know what I mean? It's going to be the same type of thing. So what is our culture where we're from? How does that look and how does that feel differently? Atlanta, everybody's doing everything. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of like moving and shaking, and they're us. They look like us, right? And so that's a whole different playing field than it is here in Miami. Miami, if you ain't got your shit popping already, then I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I work in a corporate space as well. And a lot of what you see in Miami and what I even see in Atlanta, I see in corporate. So I'm used to dealing with the people who care about the status quo, care about what you've achieved or who you are, that means a lot to some people. What I do love about Atlanta is every time I've lived here, and this is the second time I've lived here, I was always able to find somebody who was willing to help with something. And I've never lived anywhere like that before. So when I first lived here, I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was working in corporate, but I just had like outside passions, and they were fueled by the different communities I was in Atlanta, right? Sure. Like, just being around people, it sparked my creativity, and it was like, oh, wait, I can do this, I can do that. And it just made me start to explore. Coming back here and starting a business, and shout out to Village Microfund. That's the organization I'm currently working with for my business now, who
shout out
is putting on, right? They're putting on the Black Business Accelerator. But like, when I talk about community, like, dog, I've lived in Dallas, Tampa, Tallahassee, Miami, and here twice. I've never lived anywhere where people are just so willing to assist you.
Right.
And they want to see you be successful, and they're not hoarding ideas, and they're not hoarding, example, I'm like, hey, I need to find a kitchen to make my juices in, because I'm growing, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Here's a list of all the kitchens I know in the city. Like, let them know that I referred you. They'll probably work, like that kind of thing. Or like, just, it's such a community feel, right? And so I asked them, I said, this program has been so fulfilling. When I'm done, like, what I'm supposed to do? Because I ain't, like, it's like being in school with people who like understand your journey because they're walking at the same time. And they're
Sure.
like, once you're part of the village, you're part of the village, you're plugged in, and we're not going to forget you. Like, we're going to have things all the time. It's that kind of community, and that can be replicated anywhere. All it takes is people realizing that it's enough for
Sure.
everybody. That's it.
Wow. That's good. Cause, ooh, honey, you know, between you and my cousin and y'all, like, girl, you might as well just gonna come up here. And I'm
telling
like,
you, come.
and I'm like seriously thinking about it, but I'm also like, I feel strongly that, like, with just what you said, like, it can be replicated anywhere if you can find and build your community. It could be, right? Is that a
But
thing?
everybody want to be a star. So in Miami, what I'm seeing, everybody want to be a star, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I ain't gonna say it don't happen here in Atlanta, because let me be very clear. Every city has its people who are always
Sure.
on the scene, always doing the same
Mhm,
stuff,
mhm,
same
mhm,
names.
mhm,
They
mhm.
have those pockets of people. At home, and I love home because Miami gave me full flavor. Okay, when I go
Okay.
anywhere, you know I'm
I'm
from Miami.
telling
It's
you.
just
I'm
on
telling
full
you.
flavor.
Yes.
But I've not seen that same sense of community. And but I also add this. I also have not seen that same affinity to, like, for blackness in Miami
Yeah.
either. So like when I lived in Miami, I wasn't really up on my black history shit. I didn't really understand our history. I didn't understand like the current state of black America. I didn't have an interest in buying black, shopping black. I didn't understand our place in society, right?
Sure.
It took me moving other places and being in different circles to start
Sure.
exploring and reading and learning and getting more into that. Because I've cultivated this understanding, now I have an interest in building up the community. And so in Miami, before you can have people who are interested in building up community, they have to understand who and why we are where we
Sure.
are.
Sure.
And that's the part that's not taking place. So you need to do that part first before you can get to the other part.
Until we can get to the community part. Cause honey,
Yes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just like you said, it wasn't until I was much older. Like, it's crazy that I didn't know what Juneteenth or understood what Juneteenth
Right.
was until I was like mid to late 20s, and I'm like, what's that? And in Dallas and all of these places, they've been having these like full-fledged parades forever, and I'm like, excuse me.
I might have learned about Juneteenth 5 years ago, Black Wall Street maybe 7 years ago. I saw my first plantation and cotton fields not long. That's when I started really like, oh wait, hold on. I started learning about systemic racism. I started like really like understanding all the things, and I was like, oh damn, this is why it's important for me to do this. So like when I started making the decision to intentionally buy black, it wasn't because I had this allegiance to my blackness, right? Like, because some people like you need to buy black because you're black. That's not it.
Right.
I buy black for other reasons, but like me understanding what it like the disparity and the inequity when it comes to funding for black owned businesses, and then the quality that we're getting, and then like just it's so much that goes into it.
Right.
So I'm saying all that to say, we just got to get the understanding. People in Miami, Black people specifically in Miami, need to leave Miami and need to go other places, and they need to explore. Wow. They need to see plantations. They need to read books. They need to just dig a little bit deeper in our history. And then when you go back home, you're going to have a whole different set of eyes on the shit.
Understand because there is so much history in Miami, especially when it comes to us. Like when you have the historic Hampton House and how all of us couldn't stay in a regular hotel, so that's where they were, right? And how they pushed us all, and we were all in Overtown, and how we were only on that side. That's why the majority of our elders and all of those people went to Northwestern, because that's the only places that they could go. Northwestern and Booker T at the time, because that's all that was afforded to us, right? And so, and Virginia Key Beach and these places that are right here. There's so much history here, but so many people don't even know that the stuff that exists right here. So yeah, I do agree. Maybe you do, pick up and go live somewhere else and see, because racism affects us a little differently here. It's here, right? But it's masked in a different way. It comes across a different way. It's not as blatant as if you were going to a Georgia where it's predominantly black and white. We have so much here, so it's not just black white. It's
correct.
It's a whole bunch.
I mean, we grew up. think about it. So, I mean, I have 4 brothers that I grew up with, one of whom looks white. You would not have.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was a problem with racism in the world. He
Sure.
never dealt with nothing. My other brothers didn't really go through nothing. When people around us in the neighborhood was getting arrested and stuff, I didn't understand policing and how policing affects Black neighborhoods. I didn't understand like why our neighborhood was kept differently than like a Miramar or a place like that. I didn't
Yeah.
understand the
Yeah.
schools and having to bus students in. I didn't have a context for all of this stuff. I just knew it happened, right?
Right.
But then like when I started living other places, like when I lived in Texas and I had these really expensive property taxes, I was like, my God, it's so expensive. But then I look at the schools and the resources and I'm like, I get it. So I started connecting the dots. Like, so my money pays for this. This happens with the school. Now my children have access to this, whereas the kids who live in this neighborhood don't have the same. Then it started to make sense to me, right? So now when I talk about a good school, and I talk about this a little bit on TikTok, when I talk about a good school, good is relative to my life experience, my lived experience.
Sure.
So I know I want my son in a school where the teachers are diverse, where they care about the students, where there's not over policing with the school resource officers. But all of that came from leaving Miami and going
Right.
other places and
Right.
learning and seeing. So I think the more when we become better stewards of our history,
Sure.
we'll become better sisters and brothers to one another because we'll have that grace and compassion that we need to build the right kind of community. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely makes sense. So let's talk about it real quick before we wrap up. Somebody celebrated a birthday.
Oh, big Virgo energy, me?
Yeah, you right there.
I did. Mimi, I turned 41. And
41 WON. I peeped that. I peeped that.
WON.
What does
I'm
that mean?
grateful. My mama
Mm-hmm.
died at 40. I talk about this often. She died at 40 years old. And when I was in my 20s and she died at her 40, I was like, she was old in my head. You know, we think that 40 is old. Bitch, I'm 41 now.
No, not me staring 40 in the eyes as we speak. And remember when we were younger, oh girl, I used to talk about people, look at them old hoes over there still arguing and they 40, whatever, and not realizing that they're still literally figuring out life. My mom used to say this to me all the time. Oh, baby, just keep on living.
Keep living. Bitch, they started calling me auntie. And this weekend, I said, wait, when did this it happened right before my eyes? I didn't even see it coming.
Friend, we aunties.
Friend,
we aunties. We made it.
And I'm sorry, y'all. I be using the word bitch and shit. I use those 2 words a lot. But so I'm 40, I'm 41. And if y'all, real quick, if y'all watching this and y'all see all the stuff, y'all know I run a budding business, okay? So I got boxes and shit in the background, but I'm going to get it pretty for y'all. But anyway. I'm 41 and I'm most grateful. I am most grateful for the fact that I am freaking here, Mimi, because people we know did not make it to 41.
They didn't make it.
Period.
My brother included. My brother was murdered and he was 40. He did not make it. That was it.
My little brother died in his 20s. So like when I tell you like, I'm just sitting here in gratitude. And then on top of that, it's the small shit. Like, you know, I live a life where if I need to go buy me a 28 ounce, $7 bottle of milk that has no gums and emulsifiers, I can afford to do that. If I want to go walk the neighborhood, I can afford to do that. It's a blessing coming from where I came from to be here. And I don't take a single piece of it for granted because I understand that as easy as I got it, it can be taken away. And so I'm a good steward of my blessings.
Come on and talk about good steward.
To share. And I'm willing to share whatever I have with others because I understand that God blessed me to be a blessing to other people and no other reason. So.
See, because I'm a church girl for real, and I will literally tear this whole mic up. Start shouting.
You know it's true, right?
Yes, because God is just that good. You ain't lying.
Yeah.
Look how you ain't lying. I know from whence, because I will get churchy. I know from whence I came, baby. I know where I came from. And just to be afforded the opportunity and to be a good steward of what was given to me.
You know,
that is good.
You're still in Miami. If you go by my house, well, you know where we grew up at in the Bahamas. My grandma still owned the house. If you go by the house and see it, you know, it makes me sad to see the house in that condition. My grandma's no longer there. She's here with us now. But I look at the house all the time to remind me like, dog, you came from this house. You came from this situation. And to be where I am now, like I can understand people at all different levels of life because I done been on the very far left and the very far right. And I don't find myself on either side. I'm right in the middle. I live, That's it.
I do that frequently too. I ride by anytime I'm in the neighborhood. I ride by my house that I lived in, Carol City, 191st, 29th Avenue, just
Come on
to
here.
be exact.
Come on here.
Just to be exact, right over there in Carol City, whatever. Yeah, and I ride by and I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
look where he's brought me from. There was time like the lights were off. Like my car wouldn't start for however long, and I can't afford no battery right now, so I got to figure it out until I figure it out. Ain't he all right? Got
And
it.
he gonna keep on being all right. And if life is gonna be like this, up, down,
Sure.
and you just gotta ride the down to get back up, but you
That's
don't
it.
stop going. That's it.
That's it. It's a good word right here. Let me tell you something. Tiffany been done preach just on that table right quick. You know she be having you be having a good word. A good word from
Tell
the
me
curve.
something real quick, Mimi. What do you want people to know most about you, and what do you want them to get most from this podcast?
I want people to know. People usually view me as the outspoken, very like I don't want to make it sound like that, but almost like I have it together. And I want people to know that in fact, most times I don't. I feel like, and I think we had this conversation before, most of us are literally out here winging it, right? Because we're living a day, we're living a life that we never lived before, right? So we're all on this journey figuring it out. So I think that I will want people to know the most is that I'm figuring this shit out too. I don't know what I'm going to say all the time. I don't have this all mapped out in my head. This is really just going with God. That's a preacher a long time ago said that. Just go with God. And that's literally what this is for the majority of it. I'm actually very shy. I'm actually very shy. Most people have no clue.
I don't believe that one bit, but keep going.
I know. A lot of people don't. I told you about my full-on panic attack. Hold on, let me pick my drink up. I've been sipping my drink, so that is how I've been holding on. I'm actually very shy, but the difference between that and all of the things that I've encountered in life, no matter how afraid I am, because 9 times out of 10, I will say, I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I do it. Does that make sense? Like, no, I'm not going to do it. I do it.
So you really are, if do it scared was a person, that's you.
Raise his hand. Petrified, knees knocking, like literally almost about to throw up. And then it's like, okay, let's go. We on. So yeah, I would want people to know you're not by yourself. I am a living witness. Like you not feeling all of these things and thinking it's just me. Like, oh, I'm scared or I'm whatever. Nah, we all are. We all are. I had a homegirl. She said that to me. She said, I really want to start my podcast, but I'm petrified to talk on the microphone. Baby, we on FaceTime. We could talk like this right now. It's like talking on FaceTime. What's up? And each time you do it, better and better. You'll know how to flow a little bit more or whatever. So
that's right.
Yeah, I would want it to people to authentically just see exactly who and what I am, good, bad, and the ugly. Because it ain't always all good, right? We're just talking about the little ebbs and flows of life. It ain't always all good. So some days I might not be my chipper self. Or people used to do that to me all the time. And y'all stop doing that. When you see somebody that is always usually like happy-go-lucky or whatever, and suddenly they're not, I get you might want to be concerned a little bit, like, oh, why you not your... People are people, and I'm allowed to feel how I feel. Yes, I don't mind. The concern is not the problem. Is you thinking I'm just a monotone, just this one person. There's so many dimensions of me, multiple personalities, if you will. Like,
I love it.
Yeah. So I would love to let my guard down, because my guard is always up. Always up. So I would love to do that. That's what
So
I
this
would
is going to
want.
be your safe space. So you want to,
Yes.
in this space, you letting your guard down. You're
Yeah.
not going to allow your nerves to overtake you.
Or
And you just want to show up as yourself. And however you're feeling, you just want to have the freedom and flexibility to feel that.
just be. I want to finally be in a space where I can just be. I'm allowed to be me with you and
That's
my
right.
cousin that I can talk to for 7 hours a day. I'm like, girl, attending them kids and tell them to shut up if I get over there. I'm allowed to just be, but I don't have that. I don't feel that freedom. I don't want to say I don't have that, but I don't feel that freedom where I can just be. A lot of people can't take me. That's something that I've learned at a very early age, family included.
But that
A
is
lot
what
of
it
people,
is.
yeah. A lot of
We're
people.
going to touch that later.
Okay.
But that is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. And so I feel like this space is where I can I can be as free as possible. I felt that way when I was doing the IG live vibe. Shout out to the pandemic that had us on the IG live vibes, vibing the long way. Like it was such a vibe. Like it was such a traumatic experience, right? But so many things came from the trauma. So many people tapped into things that they didn't even know existed on the inside of them, including me. You know, I didn't think that would be something that I excelled in that well. Like I was just like, hey man, just shoot your shot and it is what it is. And I felt at home. It felt good to cut my iPhone 8 at the time. Talk to me. iPhone, big ass box ass phone on. Put my phone up on a little box. I had this like little rig. I rigged it up and my ring light stand was broken. So I would let it hang from the back of the chair. It was like the craziest set in the world. But when that camera came on, it was all vibes. So
I love
and
that.
I felt at home. So I'm hoping that this will do the same, and I know it will.
Yeah, you got to speak that life. So it will be exactly that. And I love that you're letting people in because I feel so many people feel exactly how you feel and experience the things you experience. And by you being transparent to share that, it's just going to let them know like they're not crazy. So thank you for doing that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the push, friend. Let me tell y'all about this real quick. You know, she touched on it a little bit in the beginning, right fast. But she was like, what you doing? Because Mimi not talking, so what you doing? So yeah, this is what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna do this, and you're doing it. I was like, oh shit, I'm doing it. And look at us doing it. Did we do
it? You're doing it. You're doing it. I am so proud of Melissa. That's all I'm just gonna say. Like, I'm really, really proud of you because you could have said, nah, I'm good, and just kept doing whatever. You answered the call. And we never know why God pushes us in a certain direction. But when he pushes us, we have to operate in faith and take that step. And then as you step, God will tell you the next step and the next step. And you don't know where God is going to take you with this or how he's going to use this. But he cares about your obedience in this moment. So thank you for just moving.
That's the way I felt about it. That is 100% the way I felt about it. I felt like it was so God-bodied when you call and had that conversation. Because let's just say, you know what I'm saying, it ain't always necessarily a call. You know, we'll text and whatever, we'll call, whatever. That was a call. That's how I knew. I was like, oh shit, this shit real.
The text messages wasn't working.
It wasn't doing it. Call, girl, what you doing? Chilling?
Yeah.
No, we ain't chilling no more. I said, okay, well, we doing it. So yeah, I appreciate you, friend. I appreciate you for listening and moving when God spoke through you to me. That's how I was done. I boohoo cried because that was, it's the evidence, right? We're people, right? Of course, we got a spirit, we got a soul, whatever, but our humanly needs that tangible. And that's the tangible that's like, no, God is real. He hear you. He watching. He see you. This is what this is. And that's what it was. That was just the audible of what I needed to hear. So thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. This is your girl, Mimi Talks. You can find me at Mimi Talks and Mimi Talks Apparel and 3, Talk to Mimi, the podcast.
And I'm Tiffany Ellis. You can find me on social media at Tiffany Speaks. That's TIFFAN_E_speaks on all platforms.
We'll be back, y'all. And I know y'all gonna tune in because we too raw.